All right, welcome everybody to this week's team call. I'm super excited about this call. I have to tell you guys a quick little story, and I get a little windy sometimes, so I will try to make it quick. I was having these thoughts this morning. I took a trail run, and it was going to be like a 2-mile run up behind the house here in front of where Mount Olympus is in Utah. And I got like 2 miles in, and I was like, I'm feeling good. It's early. I'm going to the top. And I went almost nearly to the very top. It got a little dangerous, so I didn't have any people with me, so I didn't go all the way to the top. But I had this thought about goals. Let's just say about goals in general. So many times we get so caught up in how it's going to feel when we get to the goal, like to the end place, and we're not enjoying the process, or a lot of people are not enjoying the process and the challenges leading up to the goal, and then they get to the goal and it's not that exciting. Well, it's exciting, but it's like a brief, fleeting moment of joy or excitement when you get there. So you have to learn to embrace the challenges. Like when I got to the top, I knew it would be a great view. I knew it would feel good. But the best part of that for me was like the hard moments when I was like, okay, this is far enough. And I turn around and look, and I look up at the top, and I'm like, there's so much further to go. And I was looking at the time, and will I make it back on time for the team call? And the most fulfillment and joy came from going the next 1,000 yards, the next 1,000 meters. And I was on all fours sometimes going up, and sweat was dripping in my eyes. I could hardly breathe. I didn't pack water because I was on a quick 2-minute run. But the fulfillment was in that. And it made me think when I got to the top about, like, remember when we were kids, like, think about Christmas. Like let's say that's the goal. You have a present you want to get, and it's so exciting. What's more exciting, the 12 days leading up to Christmas, or the month of December and the night before anticipating Christmas, or when you open the present and then you enjoy it? I was always thinking about the most exciting part about Christmas is the anticipation about what's going to happen on Christmas morning, not actually playing with the gift that I was anticipating as a kid. And the same thing will go with our goals. The most exciting part is the climb, the challenges, embracing that struggle to get there. So with that being said, I'm going to go real quickly through a few announcements. I want you to remember, if you're on this team call, I know you want to build your business. If you're on live, I know many people listen afterwards because they're at work and obligations in that field. But we have Coach Summit next July. It's going to be here before you know it. Guys, time is flying. I've been a coach for almost 8 years now, and sometimes I can't even believe that. So time flies, and Summit's going to come here before you can even realize it. So I want you to, if you want to build your business, make sure that you're committed to Summit. Make sure you buy your ticket. And we're going to figure out the rest as we go. As we go, we're going to figure out the rest. Just like me climbing that mountain, I didn't know how I was going to make it those few thousand feet up there, but I just took one step at a time. I would like look at a tree in front of me that was like 100 yards, and I would just make it to that tree. I would breathe, take a look at the view, and then I would pick another point, and I would continue climbing. The same thing is going to go for your business and achieving the ability to go to Summit. I'm going to do some calculations after this call, because I know I've heard some people say, maybe I'll go the next year because I don't know how I'm going to have the funds to get there. And I'm going to share with you guys, we're doing the Beat Your Best promotion, which we'll briefly talk about. My best ever was SC32. I don't hit huge high numbers, but this month I'm at Success Club 44, and Gabby is at Success Club 6, and my best ever is 32. And I'm going to do the math, but I can almost guarantee you from last month and this month, I can cover my flight, hotel, all my food, and Summit from a month and a half of work. So, and that's not from the team's efforts. That's from my own personal efforts of showing up and running challenge groups. So I'll calculate that. I'm going to put it in the team page to show you guys what's possible, so you guys can begin to see how you can make that happen. The next item of focus, aside from getting your Summit ticket, is knowing that we have Super Saturday in October. Make sure that you're setting aside in your calendar to be at your October Super Saturday. The next thing I want you guys to know as a team is we are doing a Push to Diamond group. What's called a Push to Emerald group and a Push to Diamond. I'll go live in the team later to talk about it, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to have a qualification that you have to meet in order to be invited to the Diamond group, but we're going to have a week Emerald group and 3 weeks for you to accomplish a few assignments. to be able to be in that diamond group with myself and 3 other elite coaches. So watch for that in the big team page so that you can know how to be invited into that group and help this entire team become elite once again and a superstar diamond team this year. So I want to briefly remind you guys of our mission. It's empowering others to continually develop into their fullest potential. We have a problem to solve, which is ending the trend of obesity. And I have a personal problem to solve that requires your guys' help. There at Summit, there was only one male superstar diamond coach on that stage, and we are going to change that. So that's a problem that I'm working on solving. So that's the mission and the problem that we're working on solving right now. I want to now I'm going to introduce our guest speaker, because you guys hear enough from me. So, and you're going to hear a lot from me in the Emerald training and the Diamond training as well. So I'm going to introduce our speaker today. Her name is Cece Davis. She started coaching in September of 2015. She's a 5-star diamond. She's a team leader. She's a Success Club All-Star legend, hitting 35 months of Success Club. Last year, she was a 2-star premier coach and team. She's a Core de Force Live instructor, certified instructor. She was in the Lift 4 test group. She's married. She's 45 years old, lives in Charleston, South Carolina, a mom of 3. She messaged me right before the call that she was getting her kids settled. So she's fitting this business in to her role of being a mother, like many of us, mother or father, obviously, right? Her kids are 6, 7, and 9. And her story is really unique. It has a lot to do with how she's not your typical Beachbody coach. She loves junk food. She hates exercise. And she's on a team full of fitness professionals. But she made the decision to advance her business and really take it to the next level last November. So she's going to talk about some of the pivotal decisions that she made along the way on this journey. So, Cece, I'm going to pass the time over to you, and we'll let you take it away.
Thank you. I was so relieved to hear that you're in your laundry room hiding from your children because I'm hiding from my children too. I'm not in my laundry room. But they told me that they would only scream and make noise if they saw a crocodile. So if y'all hear a lot of commotion, just like call 911 because like we've got a serious problem in my house. So fingers crossed. I was on a call last night while it was my 7-year-old last night was just screaming bloody murder the entire time. So I'm hoping it goes better today. So like Scotty said, I have been coaching since 2015, started in the fall of 2015. I had never even heard of Beachbody before because I did not exercise. Like I had never heard of P9 yet. I'd never heard of Tony Horton, Shaun T. Like I had never heard of any of the stuff. And well, first of all, to preface everything, there's like no right or wrong path necessarily to 5-star. So I wish that I could give you, like I felt on the call last night, I was like, God, I wish I could give you like, here are my top 5 ways to get to 5-star. And like the thing that you have to remember is you have all of these resources, but what I like is to hear from different kinds of people and hear how they chose to use those resources. What struggles they faced along the way and how they overcame them and things like that. Like that's what I like because there's like no secret in this business. Like it's the vital behaviors and like that's how I got to 5-star, the vital behaviors. And it takes some people longer than others. It took me longer than I had hoped and anticipated, but I also struggled along the way. So back in September 2015, I came to this experience really, really, really desperate for health and for feeling better. And I have a bad back. So with my 3rd child, I had herniated a disc in my low back and I had, suffered from chronic pain off and on for years. And because of all of the over-the-counter and prescription medicines I took for that, I started having stomach problems. So 3 summers ago, I was just a mess. I had zero energy. I'd put my kids in front of the TV, kind of like I'm doing right now, but to nap, not to get on a call and talk about my journey and how I've done this, but to talk about, or just to nap because I did not have the energy to make it through the day. I felt horrible. I had all these stomach issues. I had had a colonoscopy, an endoscopy, like all these things had happened. And I was just miserable. I was 42 and I thought, oh God, this is what your 40s, this is what it's like. This is exactly what I pictured it to be like. It's miserable and horrible, and I feel old, and I was gaining weight, and like I was just a mess. And an acquaintance of mine, who, I had just met at a baby shower, put up this post about a boot camp. And I was like, well, I've got nothing to lose. I'd already tried, interestingly enough. My coach is Moira Kusaba. So I knew her from a baby shower, but I also knew her. She owned a local cold pressed juice company that did juice cleanses. And so I was so desperate during all these years when I was, my babies were little, and I was trying to figure out, like, how do I get energy? How do I feel better? How do I lose this extra weight? How do I do things? And a friend of mine had done Moira's juice cleanse. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this juice cleanse. Like, I'm totally gonna do this juice cleanse. And it was a 3-day juice cleanse. I think I paid like $180 for 3 days of juice. Didn't get any exercise, didn't get, any coaching. No offense to Moira, but like we had a quick phone call, and she told me how to do the juice cleanse. And she was like, well, if you get hungry, just eat a handful of almonds. And I was like, okay. So I started doing this juice cleanse, and what I was hoping was for this life transformation. Like, I wanted to feel better. I wanted to, feel better on the inside. I wanted my stomach problems to stop. I wanted to have more energy. I was looking for like this magical transformation from this juice cleanse. And I crashed and burned on the morning of day 3 when I went to get a rotisserie chicken for my family, and was alone in the car with this chicken, and like I couldn't take it any longer. And so I find it really interesting that I originally went to Moira. This was in 2014. And I had heard of her, and I was like, gosh, she does this juice cleanse. And it was so funny that like about a year later that I was in her challenge group, and then that's what I was looking for. And she really wanted so desperately to help people. And she thought of this cold press juice company was the way to do it. And I find it just so interesting that like the magical transformation that I wanted from this juice cleanse, I got a year later once she became a Beachbody coach. And what I always tell people is, if you have never had like a magical day 4 or day 5 moment, you owe it to yourself and your business to do that. So that's like, if you had to number things, that would be like my number 1. Like, if you have never committed to a program, if you've never just committed to a food plan and just tried it for a week, then you're selling yourself and your business short. So for me, I had this magical day 4 moment that like changed my life. Like, I woke up and I no longer felt 82. Like, my diet was so horrible. I was living off junk food. Like, literally, I would not take care of myself. I would, right before preschool would let out, I would run through a drive-through, and the closest drive-throughs were like Wendy's, Arby's, Chick-fil-A, and McDonald's. So I'd kind of alternate between those. And so my day 4 moment, like, it was really like the fog lifted and my body didn't feel so achy. My back felt really good. And I was sore as all get out. But that is what really, like, I always go back to that day 4 moment, because I know that like it saved my life. And I think that, you don't necessarily have to have this huge transformation of, oh, I lost 50 pounds, or, oh, I had diabetes and now I don't. But you have to have something that gives you that conviction so that you can push through, fears and no's and all the things you're going to run up against. And so after that day 4 moment, I was like, this is crazy. And then like a couple days no. Did I freeze? Okay, I'm good now. Okay. So that next week, Moira put up a post. She wasn't even in it. It was a picture of Meredith Ganau and maybe even Amy Silverman on this lifeguard stand. And it said something about coaching. And I was like, so this is like something I could maybe do and like sit on a lifeguard stand and look really cute. And so I asked Moira if we could meet, and we met. I had no idea what I was doing. And I signed up to be a coach. And like, she never asked me to be in a challenge group. She never asked me to coach. I was just like, yeah, okay, I want to do that. I want that community. I was a very isolated mom for a long time and had no community, like zero community. And I could already tell from just 2 weeks in that challenge group that like, there's something here, like something in my brain clicked. And I was like, this is it. This is what I've been searching for, because in the past I had tried Arbonne. I had tried doing Stella and Dot. And then I was looking into doing Young Living. So I was very familiar with like MLMs, and I wasn't afraid of that by any means. And my husband is an entrepreneur and was always encouraging me, like, come up with something, you know, let's invent something. Like every time I complained about something as a mom, he would be like, well, what product could we make? And I'm like, I don't want to make a product. Like, I don't want to create something. I just want to, like, the MLM thing appealed to me. And so Moira, I just like totally went to her. I was like, I want to be a coach. And then I started thinking, I'm like, well, like if you look back in my high school annual, it probably says like least likely to do anything in health and fitness. Like I've always been the one. My best friend is super annoying because we would go on vacations. And I like remember the morning of her wedding, she made me go running with her. And I was like, shouldn't you be relaxing the morning of your wedding? But she wanted to go out and run. And like every time we go on a vacation, she would make me run with her and exercise. And for me, exercise is just like, it wasn't something that I was naturally drawn to. It's not anything I liked. And then all of a sudden I had to tell people I was a health and fitness coach. And so I went with it, luckily, because I had that day 4 moment where I was like, I just held this conviction. I was like, I know it is so crazy that I'm doing this, but like, cannot tell you how much better I feel. And it's just amazing. And so Moira had started coaching 2 months before I did. And so she was like, let's run. I'm like, yes, let's run. I'm going to run with you. And then she like took off and I was like, I can't run that fast. Like I totally cannot run that fast. And I always brag that I was Moira's first diamond. But what happened was I was her first diamond and then I was a diamond forever. And then all these other people came on and they were diamonds and star diamonds and kept surpassing me. And I never dropped my diamond. I was very proud of that. But I also was a diamond for almost 2 years. So I hit diamond the end of 2015, I think it was. And I did not become a 1-star until the end of August 2017. So in between that time, what happened was I started to have doubts about all kinds of stuff. I mean, we all have our fears and doubts and things that we bring along with us. And what happened was I thought that I had dealt with the fact that, okay, I hate exercise and I, love junk food. And I thought that that kind of became my brand. But then Moira brought on all these fitness professionals, and Moira herself, she's a fitness professional, and all of the coaches that I started with, they all were a little bit more legitimate than me, a bored stay-at-home mom that just decided to do this. So I really, really struggled. And one of the first summit I went to one of those workshops that they have before summit officially starts. And I can't remember who put it together, but Amy Silverman spoke. And she's in my upline, and I had heard her speak before then, but that was the first time I met her in person. She's wearing this gorgeous red dress, and she's walking across the stage, getting ready to train us on something. And she was like, the Amy Silverman you see here today, I created. And that stuck with me. There were so many amazing things that were said that day. I mean, we heard from all kinds of amazing coaches that day, and Darren too. But that was the thing that I still remember 3 years later. And I remember how I felt, because I was like, oh, so I get to create this. I get to say what kind of business I want. I get to say, my brand. I get to make all these decisions. And not only that, but I don't have to let something hold me back. I'm not defined by the fact that, I hate exercise. And the funny thing is now, I mean, I do still kind of hate it, but I think it's only taken 3 years of being consistent, but now I'm kind of well, it's not so bad. I mean, I appreciate all that it's done for me. And I'm certainly I'm 45. I don't feel 45. This is the best I've ever looked, and felt, and this is the strongest I've ever been, and all that kind of stuff. But Amy saying that was just one of those pivotal moments where I was like, oh, okay. Like I don't have to, oh, thank you. I was like, I don't have to, I get to create myself. Like, just because I am this way, just because Cece Dennis, who like grew up in Spartanburg, South Carolina, was always picked last for all games in PE and never could pass the president's physical fitness thing. Like, that doesn't mean like 40 years later that I can't do this. And so I started to get a little more comfortable with that. But I also started to doubt. I was doubting the entire time. Did I want to have my own team? And I was really struggling with all these fitness professionals that got brought on. And I had this opportunity. This was another one of my little pivotal moments. And the lesson with this is, because I know, like, I got to, the pivotal moment was that I got mentored by Barbie Kalev. And she just, she's somewhere in my up line. And I was somehow on one of her pages, and she posted that she was looking for 5 non-PS coaches to mentor. And I was really disillusioned at the time, and our team is amazing, but like there were all these fitness professionals that had come on, and I was just like, well, where do I fit in? I think that I fit in. And so I saw this opportunity to work with someone else, and I jumped at it. And so the lesson there is, like Scotty was mentioning, with like diamond pushes and emerald dashes and like all that kind of stuff, like, don't ever stop signing yourself up for those things. If I had $1 for every diamond training or diamond dash that I signed up for, I would have at least $100 right now, because like I never stopped trying. Like, anytime somebody offers something to you, take it, try it, And so Barbie offered, and I was scared as all get out. I knew of Barbie, and I was so scared I was going to get in this training session with her, and she was going to be like, wait a minute, you don't know what PV is? Like, what's this and what's that? And like, I thought she would really pick me apart about not knowing like these basics of my business. I had no idea what to expect. So I get into her training session. It's totally not about business at all. It's about success and our whys, and what does success mean for you. And what had happened was, I was going to bed every night very anxious, because I started off really strong and a really like just kind of, I was on fire, because for me, my transformation was so strong. People saw that I had a glow, and that I went from being this, miserable stay-at-home mom with horrible chronic pain to like I was glowing and smiling and in pictures. And so, but I was going to bed very anxious at night. And all Barbie had to say was like, what is your definition of success? Like, when you go to bed at night, how do you want to feel? And I was like, I want to feel calm. I don't want to feel anxious. And that made me shift my thinking from, all the pressure of Success Club. And when I say like our team, like I can't even tell you like the SC numbers that I was competing with. Like, I went from being like one of the top coaches on Moira's team to like at the bottom, because all these fitness professionals were coming on, bringing their former clients. And these women were hitting like, SC 70 something in their first month. And I was like, okay, stay-at-home mom who loves junk food. Like, I don't get celebrated anymore for hitting SC 10. And so I really struggled. And then what I just came to realize was that my view of success was that I just wanted to help people, and then at the end of the day, be able to sleep and just know that I've helped somebody that day. And so I shifted, instead of always thinking of, I've got to hit SC6, I've got to hit SC10, I've got to get to SC20, whatever it was. Like, I just shifted that thinking to, well, I truly just want to help people. I want to help women. And then I also got really specific, because at first I was like, I want to help everybody. And, I'm like, men, women, young, old, I was trying to help my, 19-year-old niece. And once you get really specific, your business gets better, and you really can be more successful. And I know it's scary, it's scary because you're just like, well, I just, just whoever, if 2 points is 2 points, you don't care who it comes from. But once I got really specific about, like, in my vision and in my head, and I wasn't thinking of, I need SC10, it was like, I want to help 5 moms that are struggling like me. And when I shifted that, and that was all from Barbie's mentorship, I came to that, and, then everything shifted for me. And so that was the beginning of 2017. I was thinking about quitting then, and Barbie knew it, and I would get in those groups and I would just struggle. And, but it saved me going outside of my comfort zone and trying, scaring myself. And then I started to build a team. And so I had a team, and they were very inconsistent. And let me also tell you that then Scotty, I'm sure since he's been here for so long, he can tell you, like, the people I started out with that were my first coaches that I thought were going to be the ones that would, get us to 2-star, get us to 5-star, like, they're not there anymore. I have a totally different team now, and it changes. And you do have to work with the willing. And so I had a couple of coaches at the time. This was, like this time last year, essentially. Had a couple of coaches. They were very inconsistent, just so inconsistent. 1 month they would hit SC6, the next month 0, the next month 20, the next month 2. Very inconsistent. And so I was questioning, well, am I a good leader? Am I, like, all those things? And I didn't know if I wanted a team. And then just out of luck, and this is another one of those pivotal moments, I was reading Get Over Your Damn Self at the time, and I got to the part where she says, never turn down an invitation. So I don't know what point I'm on now, but, like, if you want to make a list, like, this would probably be number 3 or I don't know. Yes, this would be like number 3. So don't turn down any invitation. I'm getting ready to get interrupted. Yes, ma'am. Okay, no, tell her you're not going to change it, and Nana's getting ready to be here in just a minute. There's always something going on. So don't turn down any invitation. And for me, being an isolated stay-at-home mom, yes, I was isolated because I had 3 kids, but it's also kind of by choice because I don't necessarily want to put myself out there. And so I went to this party I did not want to go to, and I ended up meeting someone who's my top coach now. And and that stuck in my head, like, say yes to all invitations, or however she says it in the book. Don't turn down any invitation. And I think all the time, well, what if I hadn't gone? What if I just had never gone to that party? And she emailed me immediately the next day, and she just has been consistent and amazing ever since. And so the lesson there is, you never know when that next person's going to come along. You honestly, you just never know. Like, there were months and months and months I just begged and I searched for a working coach, and I just was so desperate for a working coach. And I was like, oh, there's this girl, maybe I can convince her. Like, I have my list, I have my dream list up on my whiteboard, and I look at that, every day. And, I reach out to these people, and, like, a couple of them, I've essentially begged them to coach. Well, but the thing is, you just never know when, like, that one person is just going to pop into your life randomly. And so that's why, accept all invitations. Like, that is what changed it. And she ended up being my first diamond, and we got to 1-star. And then she fell apart and wanted to quit. She's a teacher. She's a full-time middle school teacher. And luckily, and I can't remember, I should remember who said this, because I wish I could give credit. It's an elite coach that I'm sure we all follow. But this person said that, your struggles as a coach, it's going to help you be a better coach and help coach someone through that one day. And so when she sat down and said, I think I'm going to quit, I can't do this anymore, I was like, aha, I've been there, done that. I had struggled for like 18 months with that. And so I wrote her this message back, And she wrote me back immediately. She was like, wow, that is not at all what I thought you were going to say. I cannot thank you enough. This further, clarifies, or this just further solidifies that I need to keep doing this and that you are the right coach for me. And I was like, wow, okay. So know that the struggles you have, you're meant to have them. One day down the road, whether it could even be like a personal struggle, like as like a challenger. I mean, you might be able to help one of your challengers because you've had this experience. I mean, I truly believe like all the struggles I had, I was able to turn them around and able to help her and advise her. And I was patient, and she ended up getting her diamond back and all that kind of stuff. But the end of last year, it was like November 3rd, and it was like the last possible week that we could, try to push for 2-star or anything like that. And I looked at my downline, and again, I had working coaches that were, like this. And I picked the one that was closest, and I decided to treat her like family because my husband's on my strong leg. This friend of mine's on my weak leg, and she was just so close. And I was like, you can get to diamond. And then I decided to really work with my coaches and mentor my coaches, because up to that point, like I wanted this team, but I wasn't mentoring them, and I wasn't letting them in on like how I was doing things. So once I switched to truly mentoring them so that was a Friday. I think it was like Friday, November 3rd. She hit diamond that next Thursday. Now, she was not a brand new coach with 0 coaches. She had some coaches underneath her, but all it took was me giving her my time and my support and my confidence in her. And it changed it. It changed it totally, that she was like, you think I can do this? And I was like, not only do I think you can do it, I know you can do it. All you have to do is get 2 people right here and you're diamond. And we got it. Obviously, we ended the year 2-star. I was working till the last minute with points. So again, my lesson and message there is, like, if there's something you want for 2018, you can do it. Like, start now. It's July 25th. Like, I decided November 3rd, November 3rd. And granted, yes, I had already had 1 diamond and she lost it. And I mean, it's not like I was a brand new coach, but even brand new coaches, like look at, I know she's so popular now, but Kate Morgan. If y'all have not watched any of Kate Morgan's stuff, like you've got to watch her and learn about her, because like she was emerald in December. Went emerald in 3 days, diamond in 3 weeks, and now she's in 5-star qual and ranked number 13. Like, anything is possible. Like, just anything is possible. And the more time you have, the better. Let me just tell you, because qualifying, holding qual in the holidays was a little tricky. So we did it. We went into 2018 celebrating, and it was exciting. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to look back at the previous years and figure out like why I half-assed everything and what could I do differently about this year. And Christmas of 2015, Moira gave me a present for Christmas, and she was like so excited about it. She's like, I want us to do this together. So it's going to be amazing. And we're going to do it together, and we're going to run together. And I was like, oh yes, okay, let's do it. And so she gave me this, Living Your Best Year Ever by Darren Hardy. And she did it. If you don't know what happened with her, she went like, straight to the top. We were ranked number 5 last year. And she used this, and I did not. I went through, I read it, I set my goals. I got my 3 banner goals for the year for 2016, and I did not use this. And so then at the end of 2016, I saw her success, and I was like, all right, I'm totally going to use this now. I'm going to use it. And so I sat down December of 2016. I went through the book again, used the same book, used a different color highlighter this time around, read the same things, did the same worksheets, came up with these same 3 banner goals. Because, my wheel was still unbalanced in the same areas because I didn't use this that year. And so I was like, all right, 2017, I am using this. I'm going to reach my goals. I'm going to do it. Guess what? Didn't use it. So December 2017, sat down again with this book, same book, went through, read it, highlighted now in a third color. I mean, you can see there's like pink and yellow. And it's funny because I highlighted different things. So I don't know. And then there's blue in here too. So literally, like, I went through all 3 years, different highlighters, highlighted different things, underlined different things, used different color pens, but used the same thing. And so for me, like, I looked at the women who were really, really successful on our team, Moira, Jolie McLeod, and they all used this or some sort of system, but a lot of them used this. And so I was like, Cece, there's your sign. Like, is this going to be the fourth year that you ignore that and like don't use this thing? So I sat down, read it, came up with my 3 banner goals. Guess what? Same 3 banner goals that I did for 2016 and 2017 are the same for 2018 because I never did anything to reach them. And so the difference was I asked someone who scared me half to death to be my, I guess, success partner. In this book, I think he calls it a peak performance partner, maybe. And, you know, my 3 banner goals are not all Beachbody. 1 is Beachbody. 2 are family personal goals. And I asked this person, Jolie, who used this for a solid year, was very, very successful. And I asked her if she would be my peak performance partner and could we talk once a week and go over our goals and hold each other accountable. And I knew she was going to say no. I just totally knew it. And so that's my next, like, words of wisdom advice. Go where you're scared. Go where you're scared, because there's a reason why you're scared of it. And like just recently I was talking to somebody and she was like, oh, I know. One of Aaron Hopkins' coaches is pushing to get to Star Diamond by tomorrow. And I met with her last week and she was like, gosh, Cece, I'm so scared about leadership because if she hits 1 star, she can go to leadership with Aaron. And she was like, I'm so scared. And I was like, girl, that means you need to do it. Like, you are so close. That totally means you need to do it. Like, why are you so scared of something? Like, there's some sign there. So I was so scared of Jolie. I asked her, she said yes, which scared me even more because, you know, one of my other secrets of how I've survived and how I stuck with this for so long after having so many doubts and questions is that I had this success pod of like all these warm and fuzzy women that supported me and loved me and cheered me on. And like, whenever I was having a bad day, you know, they didn't sugarcoat it, but they gave me love and, you know, just warm fuzzies. And it's funny, I've said this on calls before and Jolie's like, wow, is that a thank you or is that an insult? But I'm like, you know, Jolie didn't give me the warm fuzzies. Jolie was like cracking the whip and she was not going to let me like back out on her or give her some lame excuse about why I didn't check off my things for last week or why I can't talk on Monday morning. And so sure enough, we have talked every single week this year, usually on Monday mornings at 10:30. There have been times that we've had to change that around. But we've talked every single week. We have not missed a week. And she holds me accountable and I hold her accountable. Actually, that surprised me. I didn't know I could. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to help her, but I have. And so now I'm going to get to the 5-star part because like I said, Jolie one time was like, wow, like, is that how you feel about me? Like, I am like not the warm and fuzzy. You don't come to me for warm and fuzzies. You come to me to crack the whip. And I was like, well, like, she's one of my best friends now. And I almost 100% owe 5-star, like getting to 5-star to her because she held me accountable. Like, there were so many times I could have stopped. I could have backed out. I could have said, I don't feel like it. But she was always there every Monday morning holding me accountable to remind me like, well, why didn't you do those things last week? Well, what can you do this week to make sure those things that didn't happen last week, like what can you tweak? What can you do differently? Like, always asking me why. And so again, I made a decision just like I did in November. And I kind of saw, well, maybe the stars might align right now. I truly made a business decision. And that's one thing. You have to know And I think a lot of us, especially women who've maybe been out of the workforce for a while, staying at home, we haven't had a real job in a long time. It's hard to take yourself seriously when you've been staying home for 9 years, like clean up poop every day. And like some of the conversations you have, you're like, I don't know if I have any brain cells left. But you are a business person. Like you are running a business. And the more you treat it like a business, the more it's going to perform like a business. And that's what I did. I looked at everything in April and I thought, this is the time. Like this is a business decision I am making to advance my business and my team forward. And I know we can do it. And it was all around to be mindset. And that was because I knew all of the women in my challenge groups. I knew my coaches, and one of my personally sponsored coaches was in the To Be Mindset group, which really helped. And I saw her transformation. I had tried to help her for 2 years and she struggled, and she was like a new person after To Be. And so I knew like, this is the answer to so many women's issues and problems in our group. And it's also going to be like how we get to 5-star. And the lesson that I will say there is, and I can't tell you like how many times I went live in Together Rising, that's Moira's team, live in that team page, reminding everyone that when a new program comes out, when a new nutrition plan, whenever something new comes out, have faith and trust that it's going to be amazing. Like I can't tell you how many coaches I heard on our team saying, and some of like my soul sisters that, you know, have supported me over the years, I wanted to smack them because they would say things like, yeah, you know, I don't know if I'm going to do a challenge group yet for it because I want to try it first. I don't think I can talk to people about it. I don't think I can sell it. I don't think I can convince people to get a challenge pack until I try it first. If you are running a business and you're making these business decisions, I mean, I saw, you know, 5 women in our Together Rising team were in the To Be Mindset group. I saw like the transformation. I saw the magic. I saw how they changed, and I had faith in it, and I was willing to run with it before I experienced myself. And you have to be willing to do that, I think, to be successful and to make things to advance your business. And so that's how I did it. I totally saw To Be Mindset as this thing that we could do, that we could get behind. And I identified my potential diamonds, and I was able to open up my second CBC since I hit 2-star at the end of the year. So I had my second CBC, I had my husband, I had several working coaches, and I went to all of them and said, I want to push for 5-star. This is the best time of year to do it. This is why. This is what's going to help us. Do I have your support? Who's in? And all but one said yes. And luckily I didn't need her. I padded in extra coaches, and you know, the one girl said no, and that was fine. And but the others said yes. And so I told them, I need y'all more. I need this more than y'all need it, because I have to get my second CBC and my husband to diamond. I had not done either of those. My husband's on my strong leg. So I never really built him, because the volume that I have on my strong leg is insane. And for about 18 months, I only put coaches on my weak leg, because I was trying to balance out the volume. And there's just no way I'm ever going to catch it, because I've got, you know, being on Moira's team is amazing, but I've got all these crazy ballers like on my strong leg, and I don't know if I'll ever catch it, but anyway, so I was always scared to build my husband, because, you know, he's on my strong leg. So I made the decision, and I told them, I need help. Like, this is, y'all, I am the weakest link. They all had like 1 to 3 coaches that they needed to get. I had like 8 or more, probably more than 8, including some emeralds that I had to build and make work. And we all came together, and my biggest advice that I can say is that I wanted to make it fun, and I wanted them to have fun with it. I didn't want them to think, oh God, qualification. Oh, it's horrible. It's so hard. It's so icky. It's so whatever. Like, I wanted it to be a really fun experience for us. And so I brought in people to help keep us motivated to come talk on my team page. And that was another thing, like another, I don't know what number this would be at this point. Let's just say 5. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Like I said at the beginning, there are no secrets. Like, there's nothing that, like, I'm not doing anything special. I'm doing the 4 vital behaviors. And whenever someone says, oh, you've got to try this app, or you've got to watch this video, or you've got to buy this today and follow this, like, do those things. Like, it's not a secret. And so I reached out for help. I asked, like I said, coaches who I admire who aren't on our team to come pop into my team page and give us, talks about how they hit 5-star and how they stayed motivated. And the funny thing is, my team thought it was all for them. It was really all for me, because I knew I needed, like I said, I was the weakest link. I was the one that had to work the hardest. I was the one that needed the most coaches. And I had to hustle the most, but it was all worth it, and it all came together. And 5-star qual really was a fun time for us. I cannot say that about 2-star. 2-star was not fun. We did not go into it with a good attitude. It was a stressful time of year. There was so much going on, but we just hunkered down and did it. And another thing that happened that, again, kind of goes back to my point about it only takes one person. So last fall, I had my best friend, the one who loves exercise, who's always been making me exercise my entire life. I had been asking her for years and years, please just coach with me. You're the one that needs to do this, not me. Like, can't you just coach with me? And she's always been one of my discount coaches. But unbeknownst to me, she had been talking to her spin instructor for months and months, planting this seed in her ear, like, you should really be a coach. You should do what my friend Cece does. You should check it out. You should do it. And she referred me this amazing woman who, if I had to sit down, I have my avatar, and if I had to tell you, like, this is my avatar, and this is what I'm looking for, and this would be my ideal coach, I would say all these things about this person. And so my best friend sends me this person, and I'm like, she doesn't really match any of the things I'm looking for, but okay, I'm just going to go with it. But I was really wrong about something. And that is the things that I was overlooking in my avatar and what makes a successful coach. This woman had. This woman may not have kids like me. She may not. There's something that just fell outside the door. Hopefully it's not a crocodile. There were so many things that, like, I could not check off. Like, she doesn't have kids. She's not married. She's got a fitness background. There were all these things that I was like, she's not my avatar. But then it hit me. She is coachable, and she's a cheerleader. And that's what our team needed. They needed, like, that's what I was for Moira. That's what I have been for Together Rising. I've always been the cheerleader, hopping in saying, you've got to go to Summit. You've got to go to Super Saturday. You've got to, pay attention. Like, I'm always the one, like, backing up what Moira says. And I'm always the one who's coachable. It might take me a minute to get there, but I'm coachable. And so it hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jen, she's not like me. And we still get along really well, but she's coachable and she's the cheerleader. And that dynamic totally changed our team. So just remember, it's just that one person. It's one person. You may have a group of coaches that you're dragging along now, and you're like, oh my God, like, what do I do with these people? But you know what? One person may come knock on your door tomorrow, and that person, it could potentially change the team. And that's what happened. I didn't all of a sudden recruit all these baller coaches. It was the same coaches that were going like this all along with me, but I had this new one person that came on the scene, and she was my cheerleader, and she was coachable, and she was doing all the things, and she was letting everyone else know, hey, I'm doing all these things that Cece told me to do, and it works. And that is what changed everything. So don't discount what one person can do. Because I know you're probably thinking, you're looking at your downline and you're like, oh my God, I need like 5-10 new coaches and I need to get, I need to do this, and it's stressing you out. Sometimes all it takes is that one person, just that one person to come in and just change it. And then you run. So that's all I've got.
I love it. Thank you, Cece.
You're so welcome. I'm happy to answer any questions, or, I hope that was helpful. Like, I feel bad sometimes I don't have like a list of, here are the top 5 things that you need to do, but I'm like a sharer, and I think that I enjoy hearing other people's stories and like what they've struggled with and how they overcame it. And for me, like that's just what helps me.
Yeah, it's just sharing your experience, what you've gone through, what you've learned, so that you can help other people. And you hit on that point throughout this call as well. And I can see some of our coaches already saying that they needed to hear your story.
I'm so glad. Oh, that's so sweet.
We're extremely grateful that you were able to hop on with us. We'll let you get back to your kids. I got 4 prospect calls I got to do.
Oh, wow. So the name of the planner is It's Living Your Best Year Ever by Darren Hardy. So it's the same guy that wrote The Compound Effect. Okay. And like 60, 70 pages that you read. And then the rest is like a weekly planner. So I actually write in my goals. I check them off. And then go back and review the week, which is key. You don't just keep doing things over and over again. You review like what worked, what things like that. But it's just been key for me, really. But read it and see if it speaks to you. And let me also remind you that, I got this in 2015. It just didn't speak to me then. So hang on to it. If you get it and it doesn't speak to you now, hang on to it, because it will at some point, Yeah.
And it's timing is everything.
Yeah, it's so true. I can't tell you how many books I've picked up and I've been like, eh. And then a year later I'll pick it up and be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
It's because we're continually transforming and growing throughout the process. So you hear things and understand things different at different levels.
It's so true.
I want to give one quick shout out, an announcement for next week. Once again, thanks, Cece.
You are so welcome. I loved it. Love being with y'all.
It was awesome. And guys, Heather College, she's on this call with us right now. She locked in her 1-star, and she's going 2-star qualifying on Thursday, possibly 3-star if we can help one of our coaches find 3 more coaches. So she's taking a run for it. And so we're super excited for her in that accomplishment. Next week we have our team call. I'll just pop this up real. I know you probably won't see it very well, but we have Josh Coates, Creating Urgency. Will be the same time next Wednesday at this time, same link, same number. So make sure that you come to that call, you invite your coaches, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, Cece.